Today, we're going to be looking at the Goldwave EA MT5 by Mr. Shengzu Zhong. So now let's actually look at this bot in detail because it first caught my attention as the backtest looked too good to be true. And however, people seem to be very pleased with it so far. So there's both some green flags and some red flags when it comes to this EA, and I'm very curious to dive in to see how exactly it works and what's behind this performance. So as we can see, like he's saying that this bot is indeed based for real market conditions. It's using stuff like a news filter, and there's even apparently an AI assisted logic. So that's interesting and curious as to how he's actually using that. But what's probably more relevant from the sales page is that he's really emphasizing that you need to use a super high quality broker. So that might indicate it's more of a scalper, because if you are saying that, hey, you need to have a raw ECN broker, that usually means that you have a fairly short hold period because you're spread sensitive. So my first kind of hints from here is that perhaps it is indeed using more of a scalping style, just given the fact that it does appear to be broker sensitive, and that's usually a good indicator that it's a scalper. So here he's saying that it runs on gold, MT4, MT5. He claims that he's been in the trading space for 16 years, so has a lot of experience. A lot of the AI stuff is a little bit fluffy in my opinion. Like it says AI assisted multi-dimensional market analysis framework. That just sounds like ChatGPT jargon once again. However, some of these kind of features here actually make a bit more sense. Like for instance, it appears to have a multi-time frame trend consistency analysis. That to me sounds like more of a trend filter across multiple time frames. That would make sense. So the fact that like it's probably a scalper, there's probably some sort of trend filter in there. Volatility state identification probably means that there's some sort of ADR, ATR filter to only trade when there's sufficient volatility. Momentum clustering. Yeah, once again, it kind of ties into the other two things above, like most likely it's based on filters. He's also saying no martingale, no grid, no averaging down, all of which makes total sense. He's also saying that there's volatility and dynamic stop loss adjustments. Once again, going back to the fact there's probably something to do with ATR, ADRs here. However, there's not a ton more information apart from that. It doesn't necessarily tell us why exactly it's deciding to trade. I'm just trying to see if it's giving us any sort of indication of what the trigger might be, because right now it's saying a few things like what the filters could be. It's saying what the assets are, but it's not giving us a super significant information regarding like what the actual reason for entering a position would be. So here it says, does it use AI? AI assisted adaptive logics, rules based algorithm to filter out. It is not a self-learning neural network, but an adaptive system designed to improve trade selection and stability. So maybe he's hard-coded an AI model in there. He doesn't appear to be using LLMs or anything like that. Perhaps he's put something in the code, but it sounds more like just basic technical analysis to me, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't necessarily seem super like real AI to me. And if we actually look at the signal here, we can see that there's quite a few trades and they're almost all winners. Like the actual trades here, we have a 97% win rate, and the risk reward, yes, it's inverted, but it's not that bad. So this to me looks like there could very well be something here, but it's also a bit fishy, right? Because anytime you only see one loser, it doesn't give us a ton of information to go off of. And like, my first thought seeing this is maybe there's like an enormous stop loss, because he's going both long and short, and he's pretty much never actually hitting the stop loss. It is very much a scalper. Like if you look at the actual times here, most of them are closing within like 2 minutes or even a minute. So that would seem like more of a scalper. It is bidirectional, which is a good sign, but yeah, like so far it's really impressive, right? We have several different months of really good performance. It's fairly consistent. He has a super long signal here too. It isn't super high frequency. It's only taking a few trades per month, not a few trades, but like not a tremendous amount of trades per month. However, one thing to note is it has not been trading since September of this year, right? So like the fact that it's just been paused, or pardon me, September of last year, it's been paused for like 3 months is not really a great sign either. Like, yeah, so why isn't it trading today? That's kind of a little bit fishy in my opinion. Now, if we actually take a back test here, we run it, we can see that it is indeed trading a lot. Most of these trades look like breakout trades to me, and the the equity curve looks almost too good to be true, right? Like, yes, the returns are not crazy, but the return over drawdown is crazy. So the fact that we have such a ridiculously straight line and it's that smooth, to me seems a bit fishy. If we look here at the backtest too, like, it actually has a positive risk reward with around a 70% win rate, and this is not matching what we're seeing live. What we're seeing live is much more of a scalper. So something seems a little bit weird, right? Like the fact that this is more of a positive risk reward bot with a ridiculously straight backtest, whereas the live one looks to be almost like a super scalpy bot with a super high win rate. The actual trades, like, they're not necessarily even holding for that short of periods. Like, yes, that's the last trade. In, out. Okay, so they are fairly scalpy as well, but I wouldn't say to the same extent as they are in the live signal. So there's not exactly all that much of a match, in my opinion, from the live signal to the actual backtest, which is not a great sign. So yeah, overall, it doesn't look like a blatant scam or a history reader, but there's just too many inconsistencies here to actually know what's going on, right? Like, the statistics from the backtest don't match the live trades. The backtest looks too good to be true. Like, seeing something that's a straight, like, not a completely straight line, but pretty much a straight line up doesn't make any sense, particularly if he's going both long and short. There's no, like, justification as to why it's this amazing on gold. So yeah, in my mind, it's a bit fishy. There's even some, like, breakout, but also some mean reversion trades going on. It's harder to see why exactly it's taking these trades. So yeah, like, there's just too many inconsistencies. I venture that eventually it's going to hit an enormous stop loss and it's going to go boom. That would be my guess, but you never know for sure. It's looking too good to be true, and I don't think it's necessarily a super viable bot. So guys, if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. I always appreciate that. And yeah, let's see how it goes. See you in the next video.